BYDFi is a crypto exchange on desktop and mobile where you can spot trade, futures trade, use leverage tokens, and copy the trades of top trade. There's hundreds of crypto available on their spot exchange, as well as a free test account so you can practice futures trading without getting wrecked. BYDFi. Hello everybody, welcome back. We're going to have a look at Atom on both Bitcoin and USDT pairs. Feel free to join on the Patreon if you want to join that. Links in the description. We do this sort of thing twice a week anyway. You can ask me whatever questions you want. But I'm going to show you Atom because I like it, alright? And that doesn't mean I like it for what's going to happen immediately, although it has been moving up slightly against the rest of the market moving down, which is interesting. I do like that kind of behaviour. But for the most part, what I'm trying to show you here is where I believe quite strongly, in fact, that we're in an accumulation, a long period of accumulation that is probably due to come to an end soon. And it reminds me of Chainlink. Chainlink had a very long period of accumulation in a range of about 70% from its low to its high. About 80%, 84%. So from around $5 to about $9.40. And we were talking about this on the Patreon twice a week for what feels like a year. This is about a year and a half's worth of price action, basically going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And I was saying we should take advantage of this. This is clearly an accumulation, and throughout this period, we ought to be just buying little bits more. You know, whatever successful trades you make, take some of that profit, put it into Chainlink, grow your Chainlink portfolio. Because I'm not suggesting that Chainlink is going to make loads and loads and loads of gains down the line. But really, if you just want to make money, which is the most important part of trading or investing, it's just about making money. It's about realizing rewards, profits, rather than losses. Chainlink is one of those altcoins that has a high degree of success, of basically ending up at a higher price than it is, even now, really. So I call it a no-brainer, and it's been very generous this entire time. And then when it finally broke out, that's when the uptrend happened. And we'd had this all established. We were talking about this for ages. Like I say, twice a week on the Patreon we were talking about it. Twice a week for a year, every week, twice a week. And then finally it broke out, and you can see that kind of change of behaviour. It became quite aggressive and started an uptrend. Obviously the market's not been as impressive as we'd like it to be for altcoins, but it was still quite good. From the top of the accumulation zone, from the breakout to the peak, 145%, obviously from the lows to the peak, that was like 330%. And this is just the first step, just the first step of the rally. The rally in the end, over the next year and a half or so, is likely to take us beyond the previous all-time high. So if you've got a rough dollar cost average area of around $7, I would expect a 10x out of this one anyway. If you were just buying randomly either at the peak or the low or anywhere in between, your rough area is going to be around rough entry about $7. There's enough about Chainlink. I just wanted to show it to you as an example of an accumulation that goes on and on and on. And guess what most people say when you talk about Chainlink? Boring. Boring. Oh, buying Chainlink's boring. That's a boomer's coin. A boomer's coin. I have had people say that before, which is kind of madness, really. A boomer's coin. I understand to a point, though. People want to buy the brand new crypto that's just wet behind the ears, literally just come out. That could be a scam. It might not be a scam. It could be the best thing in the world. It might just end up in a giant rug pull. That's what people want. But for me, I want to make money. I want, not guarantees, but I want to feel secure in my trades and my investments. So I try to stay away from those sort of things, really, because there's enough to worry about on a chart anyway, without having to worry about some dev rug pulling you. But I understand if that's where some people want to throw their money, they can do that. But for me, like I say, there's enough to worry about. So let's back to Atom. So Atom is similar. It's different, but it's similar. So we've had peaks that came all the way up to $17. We've had lows that came all the way down to $6, almost $5, really $5.50. So it's not as neat and tidy as before. But neither was the chart. The chart was very volatile in the past. Big moves up, huge moves up. Started off it basically consolidated all the way down to just above $1 and ended up just short of $45. So it's proven to be volatile. So we're not going to have the tight range that we had before. But if I could establish a rough range on this one, it could be as low as $5. But I've marked it off around $6.40, and the peak being around $12. Now we've been above there. We've been and technically we've been below there. But roughly I'll call that the accumulation zone. We're currently sitting at $9.20 with a death cross as well, by the way. So recognise recognize that. We've had golden crosses and death crosses before, golden crosses and death crosses. So I believe that this range is going to be, fleshed out for a little bit. I don't think we're going to be breaking this range anytime soon. And that is a good thing, right? That is a good thing. If we can sit in this range all the way down to $5 and back up again and down again and back up again, this is all good because it gives us more opportunity to buy more of it, build up the portfolio for Atom for when the change of behavior finally comes. And I would consider that to be any time where it closes above $12 again. Now, I know that we came above $12 a few times in the past, but this is what I think is the most easiest way to manage your buys. So don't buy any more above $12. Anywhere below $12, especially now and below, that's perfectly acceptable to do that, and stick it into staking, whether it's Swissball, Crypto.com, Binance, wherever you can stake it. There's usually really good staking rewards on Atom as well. So we can think about that, and we can think about when's likely is it going to change its behavior. So we'll have a look at the higher term time frames. There's nothing particularly special on this, I have to say. Whatever move has happened recently has already happened. We're below pretty much all moving averages here. In fact, every single moving average on the weekly. So it's not a good look for it. And I would expect it to stay in this range probably for maybe even months, maybe in the rest of the year. Even though I'm sort of roughly predicting that we're going to have another big uptrend this year at some point, this might get left behind still, and that's perfectly fine. I know the SEC highlighted it as one of those coins, one of those blockchains that it doesn't like and wants to screw over, so it's on the hit list, and it hasn't really rallied particularly well before or since that. But this is all a blessing in disguise. I'm telling you, I treat this as a similar setup to what we saw for Chainlink, and I think it'll be an opportunity to take advantage of. So if you're, like I say, your average retail investor that has a job, you work every week, you get paid every month, you want to put some money into crypto at the end of the month, build up a portfolio, whether it's 2%, 5% of your available cash, really, your disposable cash. The longer we stay in this sideways range, the better it is for people like yourself, because what you're not looking for is fast gains to buy low, sell high. What you're looking for is a more easy ride, really, with decent APR or staking, that's going to stay in this long period of accumulation. Because the longer we stay in it, the more time you have to buy it, and then when it finally breaks out, it would most likely be pretty aggressive. And like I say, you'll be targeting the previous highs, and I think the highs beyond that. So I'm not here to do a price prediction. I know that that's what gets clicks. Well, maybe I should start doing those sort of things so people could at least click on my videos to get a dose of reality. But that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about accumulation. Buy it, indiscriminately. Stop buying it above 12. And then allow your investment to rise to decent value, and then sell it. Obviously, don't get too attached to it. Sell it. If you're going to lock it into staking, just make sure that you're locking it in during this accumulation zone. If you don't want to get locked in when the uptrend happens, because we can see that historically uptrends do go quite quickly, and you don't want to be stuck in a staking pool or whatever while that's happening. So you can buy it and stake it now. I don't think we'll be seeing a peak on this one for about a year, so you've got plenty of time to buy, hold and stake. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. There's nothing much more to say on it. I had a quick look at the Bitcoin pair. There are some interesting things taking place here. We've got 3-4 drives of bullish divergence on the weekly money flow index. You don't normally get something like that. We are approaching the previous all-time low, so maybe this would be an area where it would start turning around. I know it had last week actually started to move against the market, and I think this is probably part of that. So you might be looking for some volatile moves on it in the interim, but it's not going to be the one that's going to break you out of the accumulation zone. In my opinion, I don't think that's what it's going to be. But we are looking at some serious moves on this one later on down the line, and I think it's something that you should have a good think about. And like I say, if you want a clearer view of what I'm talking about, refer to the Chainlink video, or to this Chainlink chart, and recognize what it is that I'm talking about. It's basically this on steroids. This is what we're looking at. We're looking at this on steroids for Atom. Not as neat and tidy, not as longer lasting, but it is this basically on steroids. And so it's uncool right now to buy Atom. It's uncool to want it. It's uncool to talk about it. But I can tell you, it's not going to be uncool later on down the line when it finally breaks out and changes its behavior. And we get changes of behavior all the time on coins that people didn't want. ICP was one. Jasmy was another one. These coins, when their behavior changes and the sell walls are broken, which is effectively all an accumulation range is, sell walls breaking, then it changes its behavior and it starts to rally. Because the sell walls are a lot thinner above that major area, and in Atom's case around about $12. The sell walls are much thinner above $12 than they are at $12 and below. So that's what keeps it in this area. Once the sellers have gone, then the price rises, and the price will rise very quickly, and it will go to sort of new highs, and you will win. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. It's quite a long video to say just buy, hold and stake, isn't it really? But that's all I'm talking about. Buy, hold, stake, wait for brighter days. I'm not saying this is the bottom, far from it, but it's definitely an area to start the dollar cost average process. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.